I love those. How are you even doing that?
I don't know. I mean, it happens when I'm on calls with my clients, and I'll just be, yeah, and I'll be, oh, cool emoji. But just now, I got like 2 thumbs down. I'm like, where are those coming from?
All right. You'll have to help me more of that after we're done recording because we are officially live
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
Hello, carnivores, and welcome to session number 28. We are with Jake Thomas this week, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, a 6-time natural physique champion, and a human performance specialist helping people reclaim their health and vitality. This man has been proving every carnivore skeptic wrong, saying that he can't run marathons, triathlons, and win bodybuilding competitions without carbs. So before we kick things off, our Spotify review of the week is from Ayana Fuentes from Las Vegas, Nevada. She would like to say, this was such a great episode. Party emoji, thumbs up emoji. I like to talk about not tracking. I totally get that when you eat protein and fat, ideal physique happens naturally. Cheers to that, Pilar. Love how you worded it that way and wholeheartedly agree. Mr. Thomas, welcome to Carnivore Coaches Corner.
Thanks for having me, Colt. It's good to be here, man.
Absolutely. Pleasure is all mine. So, what drew you to a primal way of eating in the first place?
I was on the opposite side of the spectrum. I was a vegan before. So someone, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends in the world, actually, a guy that I served with in the Marine Corps, impressed it upon me not too long after I'd actually just come off of a world championship run in competition in natural bodybuilding as a vegan because people said I couldn't do it. So I had to try it, to prove them wrong. Mm-hmm. And not too long after that, he was like, hey, man, have you ever heard of this carnivore diet thing? That's the way he phrased it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm the one with the medal around my neck that authority in nutrition. I mean, I had a lot of ego going on.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was like, dude, you're not healthy and you're coming to me about nutrition. Like, so I had a lot of barriers to get through it, but still he was like, man, check it out. Just read up on it, watch some stuff. Let me know what you think. And I was like, okay, I get it. It's like keto. It's like this or that. It's like low carb and high fat. Like, he goes, no, dude, no vegetables, no fruit, no nuts, no nothing, just meat, just animals and animal byproducts. I was like, okay, all right, that's kind of that was it. It was just enough for me to have to be able to kind of check what I thought to be right and absolute. And again, a lot of that was ego.
Yeah.
But then the more I kind of thought about it and then started listening, started watching, started reading, I started to, create and form my own opinion. And then right after, a week or two of doing my own due diligence, I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. 30 days. Let's go. Boom.
Wow. How long
ago? Yeah.
So how long have you been strict carnivore then? Would you classify yourself?
Over the last 4 years, probably 85% of the time. I've had runs here and there where I've reintroduced carbs, usually by way of fruit. So I look at it as calling that animal-based. Anything other than carnivore, to me, usually is an animal-based diet, unless you're very heavily carbohydrate forward and not so much on the protein foot. Obviously, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you're not going to be animal-based. But I see carnivore dieting and ancestral eating as a kind of system of 3 concentric circles, one within the other. The largest to the most outer of the 3 would be your animal-based diet. So animal foods, animal byproducts being the denominator of that fraction. So the majority of your calories coming from animals and animal byproducts. The numerator can be whatever you like it to be. Now, I would suggest to keep that healthy, right? To have the most viable, wholesome, and natural ingredients and foods possible in that numerator. But I would say as long as the majority of your calories are coming from animals or animal byproducts, that would be animal-based. Whereas carnivore, second circle within the circle, animals and animal byproducts only. So you've removed all of the other than animal things. And then I would say the third ring within the 2 others would be your red meat, ruminant animals only, salt and water, lion diet. So I revolve around the 3 of them, more so on the center 2 circles, and then just kind of experiment with the outer ring of the animal-based ring, where sometimes I'll, over the last few years, I have reintroduced even grains, right? Like by way of like oats or rice. And I don't make it long when I do that. You know, I have this kind of honeymoon phase of like, hey, it's nice to eat some oatmeal again. Oh, it's cool to eat some white rice again. Like, it tastes good. I liked it. But energetically, it's undeniable how often, what it does to my digestive tract, what it does to my mood, my sleep, and just, again, for sure, the energy changes are quite significant. So I'd say 85% over the last 4 years have been carnivore or, lion diet.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, so I've been doing the lion diet pretty strict for the last several months with the addition of keto bricks. I put those in for performance, and especially like long days in the office. I find it to be great cognitive fuel. But like other than that, it's just red meat, water, salt. And I've been that way pretty. I would say I would say about 95%. And I'm just kind of curious as to why that's something that you've been doing and what benefits that you see of the lion diet compared to other aspects of, the variations that you were just mentioning.
Yeah, and congrats to you. That's awesome. That's a heck of a run. And
Thanks. And when people say that, I'm just like, I don't know. It's not hard. Like after the first 3 months, it's just a piece of cake after that, and just nothing else sounds good anymore. I just keep coming back to it.
Piece of cake is funny to say. But yeah, it really, honestly, Colt, besides the nourishment and the understanding of quality of sustenance that I would get from so few sources, it was about realizing the clarity and the liberation that I received from omission of so many other things, right? Like, I firmly believe in consciously seeking suffering for personal growth, big time. And I impress this on a lot of people that I coach now, in the sense that a diet is a great thing, because the word diet can be, however you use it, can be very diverse, meaning, hey, I'm dieting from X, or this is my diet in Y, right? People automatically hear the word diet, assume food, and they assume calorie reduction or deficit. But it's like, no, this is my diet, meaning that's what I eat. Not that I am dieting, meaning trying to reduce calories or lose weight, but this is my diet.
Right.
Say, like, I've got a healthy diet of watching TV. I have a healthy diet of reading books. I'm dieting on my book reading, so I'm trying to do it less or something.
I like how you're explaining it that way. Yeah.
And because it can be a scary word, right? I diet? I don't want to diet. I'm not trying to diet.
Oh, for sure.
I found that with a lion diet, and really, really keeping it to a, and here's another thing where I differentiate with a lot of other people. It's either the lion diet or it's not. It's either a carnivore diet or it's not. It's either an animal-based diet or it's not. To me, it's like being like if you're a chef and you're making if you're a Neapolitan chef making pizza in Napoli, and somebody orders a margarita pizza, it's going to have dough, tomato sauce, mozzarella, and basil with olive oil. That's a margarita pizza. If you ask for a margarita pizza with pepperonis, it's no longer a margarita pizza. People are like, yeah, I'm on the carnivore diet, but I still drink coffee. In my mind, or out loud, I might say, wow, that's cool, good for you. But in my mind, I'm like, it's not a carnivore diet. Yeah, I'm on the carnivore diet, but I still drink wine. I'm like, it's not the carnivore diet. Like, these things are so pure and so highly effective, but they require this almost like vicious loyalty to them to really reap their truest benefits. So if you think about like the animals that eat this way, there's a reason these animals are so high in the predatory chain. There's a reason these animals don't die off in crazy numbers. They don't starve. You don't see that. Well, maybe they do starve sometimes during droughts, but you never see a fat, slothy wolf, lion, great white, grizzly bear. Insert whichever animal you want into that category. Yeah. Because they only eat these things. Their instinctual thought patterns are just perfect. Eat, reproduce, defecate, repeat. That's it. That's all they do. And their mission is very clear, and it's very simple, because they have this not abundance of variables coming into their body for these other things to have to digest and discern what is what and blah, 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 blah. They just know, eat this stuff, I'm going to feel this way. It's going to keep me sharp, because they have to stay that way. Because if the lion starts to slip, he's going to get overtaken by the hyena. If the great white starts to slip, it's going to swim in the wrong water and get overtaken by the orca. If the grizzly bear starts to slip, he's going to get overtaken by the human.
I never thought of it that way, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah, like if they step out of their bounds in that way, it messes with their brain chemistry. It messes with these instinctual thought patterns that they have that give them this innate sense of predatory behavior, heightened senses of awareness, acute sense of environmental consciousness and everything that's going on around them, so that they can have that level up. They can have that advantage against their prey. And I think that's a huge part of it. Much of what they feed on are megafaunal and otherwise herbivores. So for them, they're eating docilely. They behave docilely for the most time. Whereas these things are just killing machines. And look at what all those killing machines eat. There's no killing machines that eat the other things from the numerator of the animal based, right? Killing machines aren't animal based. They're carnivores.
Yeah.
They're definitely lion dieters, right? Because many of them are just by default. So kind of a long-winded metaphor to answer this, but I found more through this for my mind, far more for my mind than I could have ever imagined would have come from it. And certainly it's exponentially more than what has benefited as far as in my physical body. Yes, of course, if you eat this way, you do these things, you exercise, you're going to look great because your physical body's going to change for the better. Definitely. But when you really adhere to this stuff, in spite of what's out there, all the abundance, all the options, all the immediate, here you go, Colt, have it delivered. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to go get it. We'll bring it to you, like whatever fruity, sweet, rich, whatever, any indulgence of decadent pleasure you want, you can have it. And to deny that consciously, purposefully, happily, there's a huge power in that. And doing this over and over for, like you said, months, right? Years at a time. It's like you're talking about building this stockpile of just like confidence in having omitted from not picking the fruit from the trees that everybody else is picking fruit from, and just being over in the corner by yourself and looking at the sun and happy, with a bloody face doing what you're doing, but how you feel from it. And that's where I have really, laid my loyalty, is that yes, it's awesome, the physical things and doing all the athletic achievements, but it's like people can't even fucking understand how clear this is. You know what I mean? Like the level of vibration and frequency that you're attuned to. You think about coupling this with like fasting and long treks, extended treks, and isolation, like the three things that have been used throughout history by your highest leveled intellectuals, thought leaders, theologians. Prolonged fasting, extended treks, and isolation. Page, it doesn't matter if it's from the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, whichever book you want to pick, but I'll go with the Bible. It's probably the most commonly known by listeners, is the story of Christ, 40 days in the desert, no food or water. If you fucking go 40 days dry fasted in the desert, you have earned the right to talk to God.
Absolutely. And we're made in his image, so let's go.
It's like, but whatever your spiritual power, higher being, elevated sense of consciousness, insight into your own life and individuality, uniqueness. What I found through, a day dry, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours of dry fasting is incredible. What I found through X amount of days of fasting, 100 plus whatever hours of fasting, is incredible. And to think about, like, if you did it for 40 days, you've earned some stuff. And that's what I'm, again, long-winded answer, in the sense of it's less to me about the consumption, it's far more about the omission. It's just that this consumption that we are doing is so high in the optimal sense and so low in the variable sense that it's damn near perfect.
Wow. I've been experimenting with fasting as long as I can, which has actually not been successfully more than 24 hours. I just get to that 24-hour point and I'm just like, man, going an entire day just seems like too daunting of a task. All right, I'm getting plenty of other benefits from the diet. I'm not going to push the envelope. I do have a handful of other things in my diet that you would certainly not classify as being strict lion diet. And do you think that those do you think that those might be holding me back in some way?
Well, tell me more about, tell me what you eat exactly.
Okay. So from the start of the day, it starts with a supplement called TAG, which is trans-allyl-glutamine. It's a glutamine with a dipeptide structure that doesn't get digested quite like L-glutamine, so it gets pulled more so directly into the bloodstream. I use that and creatine glycerol phosphate, more bioavailable than creatine monohydrate, so kind of the same idea. And I drink them together, and they're sweetened with sucralose. So that's about 16 ounces of an artificially sweetened beverage. Other than that, it's water and salt the rest of the day. My diet is 100% red meat with no exceptions, no pork, no chicken. I'm going back and forth between lamb. I had bison tongue last night. That was freaking bomb. I've never had that before. Mixed it up with ground beef and made some burgers with it. Lots of butter. That's kind of like my primary fuel source. What's that?
I was saying because the National Taco Day yesterday, a lot of people were eating that beef tongue. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just never had it before. I was like, all right, so I got to try this, and it was a lot like beef tongue, just like everything that I love about beef tongue. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Just very you kind of get that pulled pork flavor. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other sins outside of that, except for an occasional keto brick, and I'm talking like 1 or 2 a week. Oh, and then bone broth. Big fan of bone broth.
Nice. Yeah, me too. It's a great staple of foods there, no doubt about it. I would say
try to make every bite count.
You are. I would say think of it like this, and this is how I kind of frame it for a lot of people: is if you were a student in class, in school, whatever, what's the difference between your B+ 88 student, your 90 to 92 A- student, your 93 to 97 A student, and then your 97 and above A+ student, and the bonus getters 100 and above? Your A+ 97 to 100 person, they might not even have gotten anything wrong on the test. They may have just not shown work, and teacher docked you 2 points because you didn't show work. You got the answer right, but you didn't show work. So you didn't get anything actually wrong.
Yeah.
And God, that used to piss me off because that was me. I would see things, know things, especially like in math. I would see things, know things, write the answers down, and not show the work. I was like, fuck this. I don't need to show I would get points off for not showing the work, and it would piss me off so bad because I didn't get it wrong. But whether it was that, not dotting an I or crossing a T, minus a point, you didn't necessarily get something wrong, but that's the fraction that you're working with that differentiates you from being a 100 student, a perfect score, to a 98. And 98 is still pretty amazing, right? But then let's say you do get one wrong. Maybe now you're a 97, but if you get one wrong and you didn't show work, well, now you're 95. So now you're an A, you're no longer an A+. And that's only with missing one question and then not showing an answer or showing work for another. Let's say you miss 2 questions and don't show work for one. Well, now you're down to 93, A-. You're still an A student. You're not an A student or an A+ student. You're an A- student. It's still great. I mean, you're still Dean's List. Parents love you. It's awesome. But you're probably thinking like, damn, I really wanted that 100. Like I knew the answer to this and I got it wrong. Didn't show my work for that one. Damn it. I got it right, but I still got docked. And then if you're the B+, you obviously studied. You obviously knew the material. You just maybe missed a couple here and there. So what's the difference between all those? Not a lot, as far as in how much more preparation is required. As far as, is one person necessarily smarter or more intelligent than the other? Not necessarily.
May I
details, right?
May I interject just to make sure I'm tracking with you? Okay. So we're both bodybuilders. What's the one thing that separates what's the one thing why some of the best athletes just never get first place? Posing. Like that's so there are athletes that come in and they have the most muscle and they are the leanest, but they didn't spend the time on their posing and they just weren't able to show the judges properly. Totally. So yeah, but it's a fraction of your training. It's like you have everything else done. You did the hardest part. You just gotta do that last little bit. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's a great example. because I've been on the losing end of that and on the winning end of that.
Yeah, you and me both.
And it's true. It's very true. It's a great example. So with the scoring in school and whatnot, what really is the difference between all those people? It's like the one girl, the one guy who got that perfect score. It's because she took her time, checked her work, showed her work, all that stuff. Everybody else studied well, but it's just those little details. And so she reaps the rewards of total preparation, dedication, commitment, consistency, experience, etc. Whereas with the rest of us, we slopped a little bit. And what I'm saying is there is a cave of wonders, Colt, that awaits you, me, all of us, if we totally give into this form of eating, like at its ultimate level. And by that, I would say strict carnivore, meaning animals and animal byproducts only, period. Well, what about coffee? Does coffee breathe? Does coffee fly, walk, have blood? No. What about, I have a little garlic powder. I'm like, I understand it's not about demonizing garlic powder or onion salt or, the glutamine or the creatine. No. But it's about what you realize, what you can get from not having it. And then it's the self-reliance and understanding of that and saying, my God, all of this is achievable without any of that other stuff. Like, what else can I do? And you never really know that until you take it all away. And it's like these little bits of training wheels, so to speak, are what I would relate to missing that one question or two or three. You're doing great. Hey, 88's pretty damn good. You're getting into most law schools.
I know, man, but it's not good enough. That's why I'm talking to people like you, man.
you want to go to Harvard or Duke or Haas or whatever, INSEAD. Like you want to go to the top B schools, the top business schools, top law schools.
Yeah.
Like, you better be top 1%.
Yeah. You're speaking my language, brother. May I play devil advocate just for a little bit on this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what if there's something in your life that is for whatever reason outside of that, say important for like specific to a culture or something, like for someone's lifestyle, for it not being really achievable, really possible, for them to, or excuse me, practical for them to eliminate every single food, and even to the extent of coffee, to where you're literally not consuming anything in social situations. Are there other factors that might be worth weighing in and taking out like one thing at a time until you get to that 100%, instead of just going all in and straight cold turkey?
Absolutely.
It just seems like a lot of ways that it could backfire in other areas of life. You know what I mean? Like no electrolytes, cold turkey. I'm sure you encourage most people not to just stop everything they're doing cold turkey and eat nothing but red meat.
Correct. I do not. Explain about what you were saying about religion or culture or otherwise at the beginning, though. More on that, please.
Oh, sorry. What part?
Like at the very beginning, you're saying if it's part of someone's culture or this or that, like how would you encourage them to
something like communion, for example. Like that's something like I'm not going to not take communion. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like something that's more important than anything diet related. That's more important than this conversation. But like
that's a great question.
But let's say like somebody that's just going to a lot of social events of a sudden. Like I have some guys that I've been training that have just been like, hey, I'm at a bachelor party. Hey, I'm at this. Hey, I'm at that. Hey, my sister's, it's her 50th birthday. Like I can't not go there. And there's always alcohol at these events, and like their family, like their lives live around cooking food and stuff. I mean, it seems like that would be just a lot of life changes outside of your diet, even including things like, oh man, like I need to have this conversation with my grandma. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to have your biscuits every time I come over anymore. Stuff like that.
Oh, it's a lot of good stuff there. In many regards, I have a lot of understanding for that, but I have empathy with that. And because I have empathy, I do not have sympathy. I'm from fucking New Orleans, dude.
I love that. Wow.
I grew up drinking since I was 12 years old and was already an alcoholic before 18, you know? The richest, most decadent, highly saturated fat and refined carbohydrate food in the world. My mother's from Mexico. Add that country on the list, also the same country.
Yeah.
Went to LSU, like worked at a bar, you know, like I've championship jerseys of drinking hung up around stadiums for God knows how many miles around us.
Man, you and I would have got along great, dude, back in college.
So that's all a choice, you know, that's all a choice about doing what you really want to do. Does it take time and practice and, like, you know, having to lean into some of that difficulty and face that adversity? Yeah, you got to stand in there. You have to go to those weddings. You have to go to those casinos. You have to go to those games, all those events where you have normally associated them only and always with drinking, right? Or with eating. It's a birthday, you got to have cake. It's a funeral, there's going to be finger sandwiches. It's a wedding reception, there's going to be chicken nuggets, you know, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Always the cause and effect. And that's only because it's been instituted that way. We, you, me they have been conditioned to thinking that. The way we're eating now for the last, like, let's say, I mean, the way we're eating now is not even like 100 years old, man. Not even 100 years old. And by the way we're eating now, I mean that this equals this for this occasion. This equals that for that occasion. This is what you should do in regards to that. I'm depressed. I'm going to drink. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm going to drink. I'm celebrating. That wasn't.
And then you add on to that everything else in life too. Like we're never grounded anymore. We're sleeping in a bed that's not grounded, and then we wear shoes that have rubber soles on them. Go to our car has rubber tires, and then we go to an office, and then we go back home. And so you throw that on top of all the nutritional changes. It's like we're not even doing anything as a species that we used to do anymore.
No, and we've changed so very much in a very short amount of time. And because of that, we've lost a lot of this sense of self-reliance, where we, again, are conditioned into thinking we need to do things this way. We've got to do things this way. We need to go there. We need to eat here, blah, 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 blah. So when people come to me and they're trying to begin this journey, now, when I did it, I went absolutely cold turkey. No coffee, no subs, no nothing. Water, animal foods, strict carnivore for the first 30 days. Was that hard? Yeah, it was very difficult for me. So when people want to start, I kind of presented to them in the case of, like, look, you can try and do it this way, or you can kind of, you know, walk your way into a crawl, walk, run kind of phases. But as long as you get there, doesn't matter how you go about it. So for most people, especially depending on where they're coming from, if they've been drinking a lot, if they've been still using drugs, if they have a shit diet, if they don't have a good activity schedule, if they're not really great in the mind anyway, and they're kind of a prick, you're going to have some work to do. But at the same time, man, it is simple. This is not a complex thing. This is literally eat these foods, don't eat these ones, and strap in. That's it. Like, if you think about what you're doing and the fact that all of that causes all that whole list of issues that you listed, by simply omitting something causes all those issues, maybe we should start looking at fucking catalysts as opposed to looking at this as a threat.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody's even talking about eating the food yet. We're just talking about omitting the other things. Oh, I can't do that. First of all, God, the word, where to begin? But like, oh, I can't go to a wedding without drinking. I can't go on a run without my music. I can't start my day without my coffee. I can't go to sleep without my sound machine. I can't bob up. Like, what the fuck, man? You know, that paralysis analysis is exactly what it is. And it is like just beyond incapacitating.
I'm looking up a quote: whether you think you can or think you're right. Who said that? Henry Ford.
Henry Ford, right? Funnily enough, like 100 years ago, exactly.
Yep.
But this is what I'm talking about in that kind of liberation or enlightenment that happens only through, well, not only through, but in combination of this omission and also this proper nutrition, that you can't see these things when you have all these variables, impurities, dilutants, adulterants coming into your body. And even the ones that are really, really, really well masked and disguised, because we're talking about two different brains and two different bodies. We're talking about the emotional mind and the emotional body, and the unbiased mind and the unbiased body. What does that mean? That means that, oh my God, Colt, I fucking love red wine, but every time I drink it, I get a headache. Emotional mind, emotional body loves red wine. Actual mind and body, you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? We hate this. No, but it makes me remember my aunt and my uncle, and I like the way it tastes. Well, yes, like, emotion, pleasure center.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing about being a human being.
Okay. So may I run by you an example? Just make sure I'm tracking.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I just got back from an hour-long run. I do that. I'm a bodybuilder, and so I know that running makes no sense as a bodybuilder. But here again, it's something that I like to do. I love it. Like I get great endorphins. I think about it. I'm able to just step away from the office for a while and just check out a life. Have some of the deepest prayer experiences, right? And so coming back off of that, I feel amazing. Super thirsty, obviously, right? I'm always thirsty after I run. And but I really crave an artificially sweetened beverage, not water, right? So I know that I could have. I'm like, oh, like I could probably use the glutamine, like that will probably help me recover. But if I drink but if I drink it unsweetened, then I definitely don't feel like like I'm satisfied. So I know that I'm just like craving something sweet, probably like a sugar craving or something.
Yep.
And I know that cravings and hunger are two completely different things. They're not even close to the same thing. Yep. So is that like the more addiction driven tendency that you're describing that is something that start seeing some more benefits if you let go of it? Is that kind of what you're describing?
1,000%. And very well. You have probably, me neither. We have never been hungry. You haven't, and neither have I. Have we wanted to eat? Yeah, we've definitely wanted to eat. Have we craved stuff? Damn right. But we've never really been hungry. Have you fasted before for like 17 days?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah, no, I've been trying to fast longer than 24 hours, and I just can't do it, man. And I know it's a mental thing. Like when I get to the 24-hour mark, I'm just like, hell no, I'm not doing this. Like I'm hungry, man. Are you kidding me? Like I can just feel my muscle going away, but I know it's all in my head.
It's all in your head, and the same with me. It's like wanting that sweet, wanting that drink, that post-run endorphins are running. You're like, oh God, what's going to quench the thirst and, the most? That's what I mean in the sense that our collective addiction to sugar and just processed, chemically created and otherwise altered substances is beyond an all-time high for all of us, because that's how we were raised. I'll be 40 in a few months, and it's like, even with the 4 years that I have under my belt, it's still 35 that precede that. It's still 35 years of doing things this other way, where I was spinning the globe this way, and now I'm trying to spin it this way. And it's like, I gotta slow it down before I can start getting some momentum the other way. The habits are that thick. The conditioning runs that deep, right? So like even now, like as far as you are up the ladder, 88, 90, maybe you're touching the A minuses, the A's, right? But it's that disguised sugar labeled as glutamine, labeled as creatine, not to say that those are bad things, but you don't want those. You want the sugar.
Right. Because I've taken out of my diet before, and I've reintroduced him, and then reintroducing him, I can't say that the results have necessarily blown my mind or anything. It's probably I'm probably losing something that I could be gaining from being 100% strict line diet, and then just kind of going back and forth. So maybe taking him back out again is going to be a good idea.
That's
because you've already got me convinced to do it. I'm definitely dropping that next.
That's
okay. I'm drinking another example. I'm drinking a fizzy drink right now, right? But my wife and I were just joking about this. Like I don't even really sip on them. I just know it's like, I don't know, dude. I'm in a meeting. When I'm in a meeting, I'm looking at the person and I'm talking and I'm listening, but like I just get fidgety, bro. Like I have to be, like sipping on something or chewing gum or something. And I don't go through a lot of them.
it's broken is from pun intended, canning it.
Okay,
right?
so that's a behavior that should go too then?
You literally just said you get fidgety. You literally just said I can't without. Yeah.
Crap. Yeah, no, you're right. Man, I'm a mindset coach. What the hell am I talking about? You're right. I just did say I did say the word can't.
Yeah. Is it uncomfortable? Is it not what you want to do? Does it feel weird and awkward? Yeah, it does, because that's how conditioned we are. Right?
Yeah.
Like when I stopped chewing gum, oh my God, dude, that was like, oof. That was one of the harder things for me to get over. Coffee was like, to be honest, coffee was pretty easy, but to stop chewing gum was way up there, because I was always chewing gum. Every time I worked out, every time I ran, every time I was on the bike, just walking around, I not just liked chewing gum and having a fresh breath. I just always thought it looked cool, like chewing gum, like I was like sporty.
Right.
And so as much as the habit was a break, it was like
it's
this
just like
mental
smoke. It's just like smoking a cigarette and putting it out to end the argument. Like that's how you end an argument. The argument's done.
Right.
Okay.
So that was a huge thing to me. So like, yeah, I feel you. And like when I go out now, which is rare, but you know, if I'm standing around and I'm in a bar or a club, which is definitely rare, and people are drinking, like I don't feel weird because my hands are empty. You know, I'm not like, oh, this is awkward, I need to have something in my hands. I don't feel that anymore. Did I? Yeah, at the beginning, but again, because I had 10,000 nights with the drink in my hand, and here I am on the first night without it. Like, think about that range. You know, like we don't have the experience. We don't know what this feels like. So of course it's fucking weird. Of course, like you're right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Start trying to use your left hand. See how that feels. Right?
Yeah. So I've been okay. So I've been doing things like eating instead of eating with my right hand, I'll eat with my left hand, because it apparently I just heard on Mind Pump that it makes you more mindful about your eating, and so I've been doing that.
Of course,
can help and do that. Okay.
Of course, this is the thing that a very simple challenge I task on people a lot. Eating is one thing, and doing it with the non-dominant hand is great, because absolutely makes you more mindful. You're very focused. You're very conscientious of the bites and the hold. You know, like, how do I hold the fork and the knife? This is different. You don't want to cut your fingers off because now the knife is in the other hand. It's a little weird, right?
Yeah,
and you're also
exactly, or like using chopsticks too, if you're not used to it.
So I'll add another one to that, another two to that list. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, and then try to wipe your ass also with your non-dominant.
What? Oh, man, you had me until that second one. No pun intended on the number two, but yeah.
So that's humbling. But again, something so simple. So if you think about what would that equate to? Okay, I'm trying to go to a wedding being the dominant, drinking at a wedding being your right hand, eating with your right hand, and not drinking at a wedding being eating with your left hand. Yes, it's hard. Yes, is it because it's hard, or because you've never done it? More so because you've never done it. And we ignore that. We shy away from it. We're afraid of it. We don't want it. It's uncomfortable. And we run from discomfort. And that is why I say, right, God, when you have the opportunity to consciously seek suffering for personal growth, that's where it's at, brother. You know, there's too much comfort and too much, easiness, even though life's hard, don't get me wrong. But like, when you can make something a little tougher for yourself and like create these challenges, the mental level ups are, oh man, they're cool. And that's why I say, like, amazing how so much of this comes through omission. No one's saying you got to go to Bali and talk to God, and you need to go to Peru and drink ayahuasca. Like, I'm not saying it's not great too, but you don't need to go anywhere. You do not need to buy any books. You do not need to go to a specialist. You do not need to buy this supplement pack. No. Like, you want to have an incredible spiritual journey. You want to have an incredible enlightening experience of self, deep introspective work and self-reflection. Go on an extended fast. That requires nothing. In fact, it requires less, right? Like you said yourself, the challenge you have found at the 24-hour mark. Wow. So imagine if you pushed that to 20, just 25, 24 and a half, whatever, 24:15, whatever.
I know, man. I feel like such a baby about it. I got three or four clients that have already done it. And they're like, yeah, no, I did it. It was super easy. I was like, did you lose any strength? No. Like, you still feel full? Yeah. Like, what else happened? I lost 6 pounds. I'm like, oh my God, dude, after a 3-day fast, really? And you didn't gain it back? Nope. I'm like, wow. All right. Yeah. No, sign me up for that.
That's again, back to that, so much of the bodybuilding ideology and understanding of nutritional science and exercise science is very modern. Back to that like 100-year thing, less than, right? So how do animals preserve their muscle mass? Predatory animals preserve their muscle mass when they're eating well. Obviously, when they start to starve and dry season, it's a different story. But still, they make it. If you think about how often does a lion on the range eat? How often does the great white kill? And it might have a meal and then it's days, maybe weeks without it. Same with the wolves. Yet there they are, ripped to shreds, still stronger than hell, not worried about any loss, of muscle or whatever. Like the workouts that I've had at 72 hours, 96 hours, 100 plus hours, like still fasted workouts are amazing. To be able to be reaching down and still have this strength, or like, I'm like surprised that I do, but it's like, no, dude, it's there. You're not losing. You have so much more to gain than the minute amount that you could lose. Maybe you do. Like I had the popular debate about cold exposure or ice baths, cold plunges immediately following strength training. No, I don't want to lose my gains. It's going to impede my progress. Unless you are a competitive bodybuilder literally about to walk on stage, for the rest of you out there watching or listening, fucking cold plunge whenever you want. You have far more to gain than the little bit of potential loss to your gains that you would lose maybe from doing that immediately following a strength training session. You have far more to gain because of the hormonal release that's going to take place, the vagus nerve that's going to take place between, the oxytocin, the dopamine, the norepinephrine, epinephrine, serotonin. Just the explosion that your body's going to have is going to far outweigh any gains loss that you could remotely try to, conjure up. So that, again, is about conditioning, just like with bodybuilding. And a lot of that science is true. A lot of it is fact, but not all of it is absolute. And that's what I've found. And that's been for years. I was fasting for years while I was competing. That's really when I got big into fasting, was during competitions. And it started to become like, okay, I don't need to consume my whatever shakes post-workout and hit the anabolic window, One day I didn't do it. I was like, oh shit, I forgot I'm going to fall apart. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And I didn't get it perfect. My chest gains are going to go away. What happened the next day? I was full. I was not fatigued. Life was normal. It's like, okay, so I do it again. I did it again and again. And then I just started fucking OMADing while I was competing, changing the game about like, okay, I need to eat this time. I need to, spread out my meal frequency in order to enhance my best metabolism and thermogenesis of my food. And it didn't fucking matter. Now, could you argue that as far as in saying, if I ate perfectly these meals? Yeah, you could. If you get finite with anything great in that system, you can really see some great stuff. Sure. But I would say, take someone that's eating 5-6 meals a day, whatever, exact times all the time, and someone that's OMADing, you're not going to see much of a difference in their physiques. I would be willing to bet. You would see a lot of difference, or rather, you couldn't see it. There would be a big difference in how they felt. Because if I was trying to eat all those little meals throughout the day, the preparing, sitting, the having to do like just the work and thought, and all the fucking time that takes, dude, get out of here. As opposed to like, here's your one plate of just
that was a nightmare. I don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
I used to be tracking all my macros I used to be tracking all my macros to a T up until probably about 2 months ago, and then I was just like, this just makes no sense anymore. Like I'm just getting so intuitive now to where I'm on 1 or 2 meals a day, and I know when that meal is coming. I'm like, all right, I'm just looking in the fridge, and I'm like, beef, lamb, and bone broth. That sounds like a great combination. And then I'll just eat until I'm completely satisfied, and then I just didn't feel like I was able to. I don't feel like I was able to do that while I was tracking macros because I was trying to plan it ahead too much. And this is a much more intuitive approach.
Totally. And that's where the headbutting really comes.
But I feel like it's never going to be. I feel like it's never going to be perfect until I get that last 10% away.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there are
okay. So
two schools of thought, and I would say macros and intuitive eating with fasting. Right? You can get torn to pieces on either one. I've done it. I do it. It's fun. You can get fat on either one. I've done it. It's not fun. So you can get as dialed in as you want. You're doing it either way. The intuitive route, I would say, just takes a different kind of discipline. It takes a different kind of understanding, a different type of intuition. You need to really know your body. Many people that try it and don't succeed is because they think they know their bodies, but they don't enough. And there's still 88, 90, 92, 93 students. And when you're talking about intuition, you know this from competing. Like, 94 is great, but like the guy that's up there with a 99, he's going to beat you every time. What did he do differently? Yeah. Like, he's better prepared. And
going back to what you said about comparing physiques too. It's like, okay, is there any kind of a marginal benefit from those extra supplements that you're taking or whatever that are going to make you that much better? Let's compare that to someone that can hold his poses better because he feels better and he looks more confident on stage, and the judges are going to be like, oh, we're giving the pro card to him.
Oh yeah. Like, you got to look it up there for sure. You can have a great package, your conditioning's awesome, but if you don't know how to show it and hold it, you look like an amateur real fast, and that's like an immediate turnoff.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, maybe you're not as conditioned as this guy, or she does look better than you do, but like, you're able to hold it and show it better. Like, it comes off way more appealing,
Yeah.
But as far as in supplements, like, supplements are an industry based on predicated on preying on our conditioning. All of that is about attracting our addictive sense of dependency and thought that we need it. Like, you need this powder, you need this drink, you need this dropper, you need this gel, you need. I can't do it without it. It's on this magazine cover. He, she, the bodybuilders, they use it. These athletes, they all endorse it. They promote it. They're ambassadors. They're sponsors. Okay. I'm not uncommon. I'm a common man. I'm a person just like you. I bleed like you. I breathe like you. I cry. I struggle. Everything is similar. You don't need supplements. None of us do. People that think they do, let me say it this way. 99% of people do not need supplements. 99%. Do they want them? Yep. Do they like them? Yep. Do they think they need them? Yep. But if you actually just ate properly, you'd realize you didn't. But that route is difficult, because now we're talking about, again, the 10,000 ways of having done one thing and the one way of having done the other. And this is way more comfortable. And this is unfamiliar. And the path between these two, oh my God, I don't want to do all that work. That's stupid. Fuck that. I'd rather stay fucked up and be the way that I am and just take pills and powders to kind of try to level that off and regulate myself, as opposed to doing it the long division, hard and arduous way, which I kind of get. Like, yeah, all right, but don't tell me you can't do it. And that's where I make my stand, in the sense that, don't say it's not possible. Don't say
it's all in your mind. As soon as you start talking yourself out of it, that's when it's just a losing battle. After that, you're just going downhill.
And most people are talked out of it well before it's already begun, because they've given themselves the out. They've given themselves the okay. Oh, I mean, I know I could do it without the stuff, but like, it's all right. It's all right. Oh, so that's basically like, I know I could do it, so like, that's good enough. It's not. That's fucking retarded. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy thinking.
Yeah.
So to try to hide from that is absurd, but that's what normal is. That's what most people do. And you will never truly get to a potential. You will never truly understand unless you lean into the discomfort and really, really, really try to tackle it without all that help. And that's the only time you realize, like, wow, I am this incredible. I am this magnanimous. I am able to do all these things, feel this way, sleep better, think better, be happier, not be depressed, not need medication for anxiety, Like, you never get there unless you take the things away. It's just that we don't like it when they're not there.
Right. It's like a little safety blanket.
Big time.
We've been talking about fasting and the Lion Diet quite a bit. Do you think that the reason that they both have so much in common and that you receive so many of the same benefits from both, whether you're fasting, not in the Lion Diet, or Lion Diet, but not fasting, do you think that a lot of it comes down to digestion or lack thereof because you're not overtaxing your digestive system?
Digestion is a big part of the benefits from all this, in the sense that, you know, you're a father. And one of my first aha moments with the carnivore diet was the lack of bowel movements and the lack of frequency, the lack of volume, all that.
Yep.
And I remember back to when my goddaughter,
you just don't have to go anymore.
Yeah. Why? Well, I remember back when my goddaughter was born and changing her and being like, that's it? Like, I thought maybe she's like the miracle child and she doesn't smell and she doesn't and stuff like that. But it was because when she was breastfeeding, she was having this single source of sustenance, this animal sustenance, carnivore sustenance, right? That was immediately being used. There was minimal storage and very little discard, almost nil discard. And most importantly, with the least amount of stress on her body as possible. So single source of sustenance, providing everything that was needed with immediate utilization, minimal storage, and very little discard, with as least amount of stress on the body as possible. What food now, or foods, can we eat that is comparable to that? And when you're talking about a carnivore diet, that's up there, but for sure Lion Diet's top of the list, because you're talking about the least amount of variables, be immediately utilized to their fullest potential of 100% bioavailability, which they are, same as breast milk, with very little discard, because you're using all of it, and it has the least amount of stress on the body as possible. Why is there so little discard? Nothing to waste. It's water and tissue and cellular, material. It's you. Whereas I was a vegan or a plant-based athlete having 4 or 5 evacuations a day and thinking, oh, it's because I'm really healthy and my metabolism's really high. It's like, no, stupid. That's all the waste that your body doesn't need.
Yeah.
And your body's just going, okay, this is all we need. All the rest of that stuff, throw it away. We just needed to extract these few nutrients. But my mouth liked it. My tongue liked it. My pleasure center loved all that sugar and the sweet flavorings of these grains and starches that they provided, and the greens. Yummy. I love all those blah, 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 stirred in stews. Yes, they taste good. No doubt about it. I'm not denying that. But when we're talking about optimal sustenance, optimal least amount of variables / best / most efficient / most proficient / most convenient / least problematic, that's the definition of optimal, all of those together. Variables do not help that. And the only way you can do this with the least amount of variables is the way that we've discussed. So to find that, the digestion, it's a byproduct. Great digestion is a byproduct, but it's a direct benefit. But more so, I think that fasting and Lion Diet go hand in hand, because they have a symbiotic relationship almost, or not symbiotic, a complementary relationship with one another.
Right.
One benefits the other, one can learn from the other.
That's why, like, when people have been asking, should I start doing intermittent fasting? Like, I know they should, but I don't even tell them to. I'm just like, no, just keep going. Just keep eating the way that you are. Just give it another week. And then, like, they just started doing it by accident. And so then it was just the diet that did it in the first place.
It's when you have that satiety, right? When you realize, like, my God, I'm so full, I don't need to eat anymore. It's like, because all that other hyper palatable shit is what makes you crave and binge.
Yeah, and it messes with your brain chemistry.
Absolutely. That's why the animals can go for days, weeks without meals. and not look starving, not look like, oh my God, I'm dying because it's been 24 hours without a meal. Think about your animals out there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, my dog is like one of my best friends, dude. She's a part of the family. She really is. We do, we do everything together, and then like it's my job to feed her, and my wife will be like, are you feeding her? And I'm like, yeah. And like, there's some days I do, and some days I don't. But it's all meat based. It's nothing from the store. Like she's on the lion diet too, because that's what I eat, and so she just gets the stuff that I'm like, I'm not really feeling that tonight. All right, this is for you, and she's just fine. She's perfectly healthy. It's great.
Absolutely, right? Like I can think back to my dogs and the ones that used to fart like crazy. It's like, why? Look at the kibble that they're eating. Look at all the shit that's in that food. Oh my God!
Now that you mention it, I've never heard my dog fart. And yeah, that was the other thing. We were one of my athletes and co-coaches. We were just joking about how we should just have an entire episode on why you don't fart. And that's how, like, the weirdest thing is when you go on the lion diet that you just don't anymore.
No burping, no gas from either end. Right?
Yeah. Bowel movements are super regular and easy.
You could almost not brush your teeth anymore because you don't have bad breath.
Yeah.
If anything, I could just like rub my teeth with my finger and be like, yeah, it's pretty much good. A toothpick is more necessary than a toothbrush.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
yeah, if you're new to the carnivore diet, stock up on toothpicks, please.
Yeah, good point. Body odor changes. You don't smell anymore. I haven't washed my hair this year, like with a product this year. Literally,
good.
Shampoo,
it looks great.
No shampoo, no conditioner, no gel, nothing.
Yep, same here. Nothing either. I stopped doing that a while ago. Learn that was a scam.
Yeah, no deodorant, all that stuff. And it's like, why? Because I don't smell. I don't stink. I'm not foul from the mouth. I'm not foul from my ass. I'm in a black shirt. I wear black a lot.
Yeah.
There's no dandruff here, Colt. There's no dandruff. You see white spots. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What the hell, dude? It's like same thing with sunscreen. That's another great scam. Ooh. Sunscreen can serve a purpose. Don't get me wrong. However, it's toxic and unhealthy as shit. You can do other things to better improve your sensitivity to sunlight. Number one, stop consuming any things that have processed oil, seed oil, or otherwise, because as that seed oil comes out of you, sweats out of you, that's what causes a magnification for the sun to burn you more so. You're welcome.
Wow.
Stay in the sun, use the sun, cover your face, but let your body get some sun. It's good for you.
Yeah.
Not bad for you. To put on coats of fucking sunscreen is bad for you.
Exactly. I'm such a believer in that, man. As soon as the sun starts coming out in the summer, I'm in it as often as I can. And I know the first couple times I'm going to get fried and it's going to suck. And then, but I'm like, no, I'm not putting sunscreen on, and then give it like 2 or 3 days. And then I can get tan super easily. And then I just try to get as much sunlight in the can. Then it just becomes a game of, okay, how much work do I really have to do inside my office? All right, I need 3 monitors to make a workout plan. So that happens in the office. Video editing, you got to do it in the office. Emails, oh, heck no. All that stuff is waiting till outside. I'm going to go lay out in the sun and pound all these out for the next 2 hours while grounded.
I mean, think that sunscreen, another thing. 100 years ago? But all of a sudden, like, oh, there's skin cancer. I'm not saying that you can't get skin cancer from sunlight. Like, duh. Okay, we know.
Right.
But I'm saying that it's kind of funny that out of nowhere this industry gets created and now we are so dependent on it that we think we'll die without it. You won't. Don't, if you're fucking pasty white, don't stand in the sun for 12 hours and get fried, right? Like overly fried, like dose your way in there, kind of get 10 minutes, 20, 30, whatever, build your tolerance up. But like to think that we need this stuff, again, conditioning, right? That's why there's a whole fucking aisle of it at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
What were people doing 100 years ago? We've survived this long. My God, cancer, skin cancer was not rampant from 100 years prior to 2 million years prior. But all of a sudden now skin cancer is like killing everybody. So we need to have sunscreen. Oh, hello. That seems kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Scalp issues, alopecia, anything else with like, psoriasis, eczema, like where was that 100 years ago? didn't really exist, wasn't really a scale like on the health scare, and now it's like terrifying. 90% of foods in today's grocery stores did not exist 100 years ago. 90% of diseases that exist today did not exist 100 years ago.
Wow.
So when I say the single most effective thing we can do as human beings in regards to our health is controlling what we put into our mouths, I fucking mean it, man. That doesn't mean just consumption. That more so means omission.
Wow. We've been talking about suffering a lot lately, and I think that in today's culture, we think that life is about pleasure and about being happy, and it's not. Life is about purpose. And I think once you cross that mentality and you understand that suffering's okay and suffering's not a bad thing, it makes making a transition like this seem more achievable.
Yeah. What great points. What if
And
you
that's
never
good.
for it, how could you appreciate it? You know,
Right.
if you didn't have to grind for it, endure, if it was just given to you, like how do you that's a question I'm asking. How can you appreciate something that you didn't have to work for, or that was just simply given to you without having to earn it in some form or fashion? You know, as a child, we receive gifts, and even, you know, throughout life, I mean, we receive gifts, but there's usually reasons behind them, right? Love is a big one.
Yeah.
Commendment of something, right? But in the sense that you know what I mean, and people know what I mean when they're avoiding things because they don't want to have the pressure or the suffering, the abrasiveness to have to, oh, I don't want to have to work hard to make money or to earn a living or to be happy, or I don't want to have to go there or do that. I want to be that. I want to be an astronaut, but I don't really want to study. You don't want to fucking be an astronaut.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm starving right now. Yeah? Well, here's a whole head of cauliflower. Go for it. I don't want that right now. Then you're not fucking starving.
Yeah. My devotional this morning was on 2 Timothy 2:3. Share in suffering as a good soldier of Christ Jesus. And basically it was just summarizing how even the Bible doesn't teach that life is about being happy, but the Bible is about being on a mission that has a higher purpose, and suffering is a necessary part of that.
Yeah. You know, like David Goggins hits on it well, talking about
For sure.
stands to be judged if, you know, his one regret might be that he didn't suffer enough. Because it's the hack. It's like the ultimate hack. That's why I say, if you can consciously seek suffering for personal growth in the littlest places, again, Colt, brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand today for me and let me know how it goes.
Okay.
Like, alone, you're going to be laughing. You're like, damn, this is a lot harder than I thought. But like, fuck, man, little things like that, you know? You normally carry your kid on the right side because it's your dominant hand. Put them on the left. Like, you end up learning that as a parent. But like, just doing that, the first, you're like, oh, I don't want to drop her. You know, it's kind of weird. It's my non-dominant hand, but like, figure it out, right? But we just don't see those parallels with so many other things in life. But my God, when you have the opportunity to, again, consciously seek suffering, choose suffering for personal growth, to walk when you could have rode, you know, to write when you could have texted, to do it on the hard way, the long way, to grind on purpose, as opposed to through circumstance, or through circumstance and being happy about it. But good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll do more with less. Good. We're going to learn more this way.
Wow. That's amazing. I think we need to, I'm going to title this Suffering is a Hack. That's probably the coolest thing I've heard the last 60 minutes.
Good, man. That's good. Yeah. And it's a free one.
That is so true.
It's a free one, right? Like,
it's not even free. You'll get paid for it. You'll save money by just not buying all the stuff that you were before. The carnivore diet's so damn cheap, man. It's ground beef, and you don't waste anything. It all goes to use. You look at any other diet, you got to buy this, you got to buy that, you got to buy that. Okay, yeah, now you're up to like 15 ingredients. Are you really going to use everything you bought? No, you wonder why you just came out of Costco, why it's $300 every single time. You stop eating all the stuff that's just making you sick in the first place, and then look at the benefits that you get on the flip side. But you got to say no to those addictive tendencies in the first place. And if you talk yourself out of it, then don't even start.
That's the truth, man. And it's just, I laugh when people say, "Oh, I can't afford your diet. It's too expensive." I'm like, I've done this for less than $50 a week in Manhattan. So don't fucking tell me it's expensive.
Oh yeah.
Literally less than
some of
$50
the
a week shopping at Whole Foods Columbus Circle in Manhattan.
Yeah, you just get whatever's on sale that fits within the diet.
Yep. And then bust out a fast here and there, and before you know it, you're only eating 3 days a week, and it's easy.
Yep.
No, I don't want to do that. Oh, there we have found the truth.
Yeah,
no,
you're toast. You're right.
I don't want to do that. Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I've been waiting for someone to say. I can't do that. Like, yeah, I like to laugh at that because don't tell me you can't do it. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, now we're getting somewhere. I fucking know you don't. God, do I know you want to do it. And that is exactly why you'll stay where you are, because everything you need, everything you think you need is exactly what makes you fucking weak.
Absolutely.
That's
okay.
The hack right there, bro. That's it.
So to recap, I so respect your time. I just want to make sure that that you and I are still doing good on time.
Yeah.
Okay. So just want to recap that 2 jobs are: number 1, to brush teeth with my left hand. What else am I cutting out? Cutting out.
Look, if we're defining
everything, all right.
If we're defining the line diet as it's
because I've never really given it 100% chance shot. I've been 95 for like 6 months straight, and it's just not good enough. So all right, you're challenging me to a higher standard of excellence. I'm not gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna do this.
I love Rob Sykes' keto bricks. They're great. Let's make that very clear. Rob Sykes is the man. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's
coming over in 3 days. He's on his way to go compete again. So we're probably going to get a pump in next Tuesday. Yeah.
Amazing. Anybody that doesn't know the Keto Savage, Rob Sykes is a good guy, great guy, and one of the premier authorities in ketogenic bodybuilding. So if you're interested, talk to Colt, talk to him. They will definitely steer you in the right direction. But yeah,
he is revolutionary. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, he's got a great book, really good book. Yep. But yeah, man, lion diet is red meat, salt, and water. Anything else is not.
You got it.
That's my opinion of it. I don't even call it an opinion. That's what it is. Damn it. So
tea's not okay either, huh?
You tell me.
Apparently not. Red meat.
What does tea come from?
So not a ruminant animal.
It's a leaf. It's a plant, right? So
That's
tea to me is not on the carnivore diet. Why? Because tea is a leaf.
Okay. So I mean like this resembles how lions eat, right? And how carnivorous animals eat. So what happens when you see an animal eating like grass and then throwing it back up, because that's part of their that's part of like something they're supposed to do, right?
Like, give me an example.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those old wives' tales. But there's animals that are like bears eating berries, for example, and I guess I'm just kind of wondering.
Bears liking honey, you mean?
Yeah, honey too.
Yeah, so bears are an interesting one, and I don't know if it's because of their environment and their, I don't want to call it terrarium because it's not closed in, but the bears with the honey and the berries,
or an addictive tendency on a smaller degree, maybe.
It's a good question, and it could be because of availability of some kind. I don't know. It could be an evolutionary, an instinctual trait to them. I'm not sure. I know they like salmon a lot. I know they like caribou meat.
I mean, if there was a fresh salmon next to him and a berry next to him, I'm pretty sure the bear would go for the salmon. Okay.
Maybe it depends on the time of year. I don't know. I think it's a great question. I think that has a lot to do with availability and evolution also of the animal, possibly.
Yeah.
What it's got around it, what it seemed to have needed, what it uses for different reasons for storage. Not lions, for example, don't hibernate the way bears do, right? So maybe there's something that attributes to the fact that they do that, and where they're storing bits of fruit and whatnot for glycogen. I don't know, because I would think that they would want to store the fat instead for ketone bodies, but I don't know, man. Maybe there could be something really to learn. It's a great question. I'm gonna look into it for sure.
Okay. So I'm going to go strict line. That's going to be cutting out glutamine, cutting out CGP. And how long do you think that I should do that to be able to give it its best chance
30
shot?
days, minimum 30 days.
Minimum 30 days. You got it.
Yeah. I'd say minimum 30 days. And same thing when people are like, yeah, I mean, I tried a carnivore diet. How long do you do it for? A week.
Listen, I mean, this honestly, man, this is perfect because I'm in a couple weeks I'm flying to New Hampshire. I'm coaching a guy through a show. He's on a strict lion diet. He's probably going to get his pro card. Yeah, if it was me up against him, I wouldn't stand a chance. The judges would be like, Colt, get off the stage. So I'm going to fly over to Seattle, and then I'm like trying to think through all my meal prep and everything, and I'm like, man, like this just sounds better and better. I don't want to take all these supplements in the first place. Like, let's just go strict lion for 30 days. Let's go.
Yeah, man. And I've been there with you doing it too, traveling and everything else. And it's like, it's awesome to load up a tray of ribeye, chuck roast with bone marrow and bits of organs there and taking it on the plane and being like, I'm eating hearty right now for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, we're going to. We already know we're going to a Brazilian steakhouse after the Seattle show. That'll be our after party there. That's always what we do.
Definitely send pictures of your client competing. I'd love to see him, what he looks like.
Oh, thanks. I think I made a post of him earlier today. Actually, it's like my last post. His name's Nathan, and he has Crohn's disease, so he has to be on the lion diet. And if he doesn't, then everything flares up majorly for him. So he's on it more like for therapeutic reasons. But yeah, he's going to be stepping on stage in 3 weeks, and he weighs 190 pounds, 6 foot. 6'1", and he's hasn't been hungry. He's been doing no cardio, and his working sets in the gym are like 30. Excuse me, I would say 30 minutes is probably his longest workout right now, and he's training 4 or 5 days a week, depending on the day.
Wow. Well, good luck, Nathan.
He's just never hungry. Yeah, and so I'm like, man, like I'm just seeing it work so well, and he doesn't do crap outside of that except for sugar-free energy drinks. But yeah, I'm like, all right, there's definitely something more to this last 10%. I'm willing to do it.
Sugar-free energy drinks, you
said? Sugar-free energy drinks like Ghost, Bang.
Yeah.
Oh, we already had that conversation, but I was like, oh man, cutting caffeine right now, right before a contest. Like, if you weren't about to step on stage, I would say do it, but. Let's cross the caffeine barrier like after you're done with that. Everything you're doing right now is working for you so far. Let's not screw this up.
Definitely. But yeah, that sounds awesome, man. Best of luck to you, Nathan.
Thanks. Appreciate it a lot. Well, cool. Thank you again so very much for your time. I mean, this has been an absolutely life-changing conversation. You've definitely changed my life over the last 60 minutes. I'm going to put links to your Instagram, your YouTube, your coaching applications to coach with you in our show notes. Where's the best places for our listeners to follow you and your content?
Oh, probably on Instagram at LifeLikeJake. Everything else is lifelikejake.com, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. It's all LifeLikeJake. So you just come find me and I'll find you back. And just telling everybody that, I use the name because it rhymes. It's my name, but honestly, it's not Life Like Jake. It's really Life Like You.
Well, and you're a real genuine guy too. I mean, like we're video messaging each other back and forth on Instagram, and here it's like you don't know me from a hole in the wall. Like I reached out to you a week ago, and I was like, man, I would love to interview. There's so much that I could learn from you. Are you kidding me? and here we are a week later. So thanks again so much for that. God bless you. What's the one last thing? What's the hottest project that you're working on lately? What's new? What's new with you? Probably
my book. That's going to hopefully come out before the end of the year. And then I got another big thing that I'm working on with Rhonda Viteri. Rhonda Viteri is a 102, I think she's 102 now, triathlon triathlon and Ironman competitor. She's run 102 of them since 2016. She's also a huge tech guru and mogul and big financier from New York. Look up Rhonda Viteri technology and funding and otherwise you'll see her, and also 100+ races under her belt at 2016. But she and I have some work together that we're collaborating on coming out really soon. So definitely stay tuned for that because she's a boss and a beast.
All right, we'll be doing that. And where are we going to be able to find your book? I mean, obviously Amazon everywhere, and if you'll be sharing it on Instagram. So
Yeah, I'll be blasting that on all channels. Definitely, it's teasing it out as well for sure. So you'll know. I promise.
cool. Awesome. And then running kind of seems to be a fad. So is it going to be on Audible too? Like people can download an audiobook if they want?
I'd like it to be, and I'd like to be the one narrating it too, because I think it'd be cooler to hear it from my voice. So yeah, I'd like.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be way cooler to hear from your voice. And I already asked Robert this, and he told me the same thing. So if you tell me the same thing, I won't take it personal. But hey, man, I'm always offering to read an audiobook too if you need someone to be your guy for Audible. But between you and me, I'd rather listen to you talk, man.
I'll let you know once I get there. That's fair.
All right. Sounds good, brother. Well, thanks again, and we'll be talking soon. I'll follow up with you on how this 30-day goes. Here we go.
Please do.
All right.
Good, Colt. Thanks again, man.
Yep. Thank you.